Hello everyone. So finally weather's starting to get better, so I thought we could come out on the veranda. So today's topic, we're going to talk about fake beggars and some of the not better ones that I've encountered, but definitely the more memorable. Now these are all based around the Canterbury area, obviously, because that's where I predominantly spend my time on the streets. So funny on the start with. So I mentioned before there was the Royal Marine that came onto the streets that I was trying to help and got him into the British Legion. Now we were walking through the high street and there was a guy that I'd seen before wearing full military garb, and he was begging, stopping people for money. So anyway, the guy that I was with, not a shy person by any means, went straight up to him and started chatting to him. And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm on the streets. You know, I've just got out of the army. You know, I've done nothing for me. I've done all this for my country. You know, all that crap." Yeah. And the guy that I was with, this is brilliant. It's just brilliant. Straight off, it's like, "Oh, okay, what's your service number?" And the guy sort of stumbled, and it was at that point that the guy that I was with was like, "You are full of shit. Okay, if I ever see you again, such and such." Right. And obviously he said to me that your service, you don't even have to think about it because you spent so long reciting that service number. Someone doesn't even have to finish the sentence of asking you for it before you're already saying it. It becomes an autopilot. Yeah, it's just straight off, "What's your service number?" And those guys like, "Yeah, called you out." They turned the guy at a house, he had a council property as well, so you know, really taking the piss, and quite frankly, lucky he didn't end up getting hurt, really. Now there's another one, and I know there's going to be people that are going to maybe get offended by this and tell me I'm out of order, but I'm just going to tell you how it is and how I observed it. So there used to be this guy that would appear on the weekends, and he would sit on the bridge and he'd draw pictures. He was a reasonably okay artist, but he'd be sat on the floor, right? Now he'd walk there quite fine, and I've seen this guy run to get the train. When he got there, he would take his shoes and socks off, and he had quite deformed feet. Yeah, okay, tragic maybe, I don't know, but it clearly does not affect him at all. Walks perfectly fine, runs perfectly fine, shoes and socks on, you wouldn't know. And that's what he does, sits there all day with his feet out. So people start taking pity, and that really winds me up, because essentially he's pretending to be disabled, and he isn't. You know what I mean? He's got a physical deformity, okay, and that's terrible, okay. You know, yeah, no one deserves that. But the fact he's pretending to be disabled, I don't understand the significance of why he had to sit there with his feet out. Well, I know why, because it try to make people feel sorry for him, so they gave him money. Again, the guy had a home, but you know, I mean, I've got quite a few scars all over my body. Should I sit there with my top off and get sympathy? I don't really see the difference. Like I say, essentially just pretending to be disabled, and it just wound me up horrifically. It really did. Obviously, you'd have your usual, the Costa Coffee Cup crew. They get dropped off in the morning. Incidentally, they take their shoes off. They would still have their socks on, but they'll have no shoes. And, you know, the little cardboard sign, "Hungry, please help." As we've explained before, it's a professional scam. So I don't know if they're forced into doing it. You know, maybe they are, and if that's the case, then it's slavery. That's awful. But they're not homeless. They get dropped off. It's a job. The people that do these things, it is a job, and like they have a costume that they put on to go and do it. There was another one. There was a woman. She was an addict. Okay, which I sympathised to a degree. Again, she was housed. She had a council property, and yeah, she'd sit there pretending to be homeless, and I'd got chatting to her a few times, and strangely, people tell you so much stuff. Like I know that I have this channel, and my life is here for you to see, but just in general, people tell you things that you just think, you shouldn't be telling me that, or I don't know you well enough for you to be telling me that. And it transpired that, her children had been taken into care, right? And I have a view on this, okay, which some might not like. If you have a child and it gets taken into care, okay, poor decision making, wrong time of your life, whatever. Second child, no excuse. Sorry, your second kid gets put into care, you should be sterilised in my eyes, you really should. This woman had 8 children, all taken into care. And I remember the conversation once that she was going on that social services were the C word because they took her kids. And I thought, no, they're not. That's an example of them actually doing the right thing, doing what they're supposed to do. They're not the C word, they're the heroes in my eyes here. But yeah, 8 kids. Now, we won't go too far into this, but can you imagine the cost of that to the taxpayer? These 8 children, all born addicted because she used throughout her pregnancies, then obviously gone into the care system. 8 kids. It must cost millions, cost the taxpayer for that. And I'm sorry, after like the 4th, I think it should have been a criminal offence that she had any more kids. Again, there's going to be people that aren't going to like my view here, but I'm sorry, if you have 8 kids taken into care, you are a piece of, So yeah, she used to sit there and beg. Oh God, so many. There really is. There's so many. So to try and give you the memorable fake ones. There was a guy housed again. He had a dog, a Labrador. I love dogs. I love Labradors. I had a Labrador once, Quincy. Yeah, he had this Labrador, and he's one of the people that I had a few run-ins with, because he used to sit by where my tent was with his dog, with his costume on, hassling people for money. And it was to give the impression that, my tent was his home. The guy was housed again, but he put his costume on to go and do it. Like I say, it's so common when you see people begging. Like I say, genuine homeless, rough sleeper on the streets. Yeah, people like that don't tend to do it. Okay, because like I say, they don't want to draw negative attention to themselves. I used to sit where my tent was because I wanted to be one of my things, so I'd sit there and I would read. I've mentioned this before. I could get through 3 books in a day, and the reason why I did that was because it was like being in a goldfish bowl, and it was the only way I could block out everything that was going on around me, was just to read a book, get drawn into that book. And obviously people would come up to me and they'd offer me food and they'd give me money, and I would accept it. I really would, but I never actively asked for it, and at the end of the day I needed it, but I wasn't going to ask or hassle people for it. And there's some amazing people that came to my aid, there really was. People that brought me clothes, phone, people that really went out of their way to make sure I was okay, and I'll be forever grateful for that. But like I say, it's these people that put on their costume to go and hassle the public for money, which give the genuine rough sleepers a bad name. So like I said, the things you need to look out for when you see, if you are inclined to give people anything, look to see what they've got with them, because they won't just be there with nothing. They'll have some of their things with them. They'll be, dressed appropriately for the elements as well. They won't be wearing trainers and jogging bottoms. If they are wearing jogging bottoms, they might be wearing several pairs, and if they're wearing trainers, the trainers are going to look like they've been to hell and back, quite frankly. So if the trainers look quite alright, again, no, not homeless. And it's people that genuinely are on the streets don't actively ask. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Everything with John's still going great. I'll give you some more updates as they unfold. There's some quite big news potentially on the horizon, so I'm excited to tell you that. I really am. I just need to wait for it to be set in stone. But yeah, big love. Chat soon.